When I was giving birth to my first child, I was unsure of what to expect and I had no idea what I was doing. But by the third child, I was a professional. I knew what to expect. I was prepared for it, as prepared as I could be. But still, during active labor and the delivery of the baby, I still said those famous lines, I can't do this. My nurse said, honey, you're doing it. You can do it. I believe in you. And that's how I had my baby. Um, well, my balloon broke, so I was going to show you what to do, but it's okay. I will kind of walk you through it. Um, Giving birth is defined through Oxford Languages as to bear a child or a young. It is the process that naturally occurs when a woman goes through the stages of birth. The stages of birth include early and active labor, the delivery of the baby, and the delivery of the placenta, which is the feeding source for the baby for the 9 months. A lot of people don't realize that the placenta is part of active birth. Um, this information was found on a website known as The Woman's, with the article titled Stages of Labor, but there is no publisher date to that. My goal here is to provide an educational explanation of what happens from the start of labor to the delivery of a child. And I hope that by understanding better of what happens to a woman's body with help of the parents, they can have a better understanding of what will happen next, and it'll be able to provide them with more educational decisions on what could happen or what will happen or what they need to do as far as modifications like a cesarean or um, a, I think they call it a VBAC, which is where they put the vacuum on the baby's head and pull it out. Um, so understanding what happens to a woman's body is an informative piece of information to help anyone in the future. If you know anyone that's pregnant or a spouse becomes pregnant or you become pregnant. Let's dive in for more of an extensive look on what happens to a woman's body as it prepares for the labor and delivery. According to the Mayo Clinic website titled Labor and Delivery Postpartum Care, published on July 23rd, 2024, it discusses different stages that the birth has. So, your first stage is dilation and effacement of the cervix. I did have a balloon here. It did break. So, we're going to go with it. So, your ping pong ball usually sits right here. And this is where your baby's comfortable, where your baby's fed, where your baby's cared for by the placenta that is inside here as well. First stage of labor is you might feel a little bit of contractions, dilation, which is where your cervix expands, and your effacement is where the baby moves down in the birth canal and this part gets shorter and shorter. It provides a wider opening for the baby to be born in. It's really important that your body goes through those stages before you have a baby because you don't want any tears or rips on the mother. That puts a lot of pressure on the mother's downstairs area. The symptoms women may be having during this stage of labor would be cramping. They may feel like they're getting ready to start their cycle. They may have indigestion. They may have, there's so much pressure sitting on, because your cervix expands so much, there's no more room for your other organs to go. So it's squished, it's cramped, it's feeling like maybe your back might ache because of everything pushing on it. You might have diarrhea. You can take warm baths, take walks, bounce on a bouncy ball, anything to help that body keep moving and keep pushing that baby down and safely deliver. Now that I've explained to you at early and active labor, it's time for the delivery phase of the baby, or the second stage of labor. Within this stage, the National Library of Medicine provides online reading title Normal Labor, Physiologically, Evaluation, and Management. This article was last updated on February 15th, 2025. So it talks about how your cervix will open. So this is, and it goes from centimeters. So if your baby's coming down and your doctor says, well, you're only a centimeter dilated, you have to imagine you have to get to 10 in order to deliver a baby successfully. So your cervix dilates. So if you look at it, it dilates this way 10 centimeters. And your effacement goes from 0%, which is the longest, to 100%, which is real thinned out. And that's how you're able to deliver your baby. So it crowns at the end, and then doctors are able to safely pull the baby out without any rips or tears. Now that you understand that how a baby is born, your labor is not over yet. There's still the last stage of delivery, which is the delivery of the placenta. And a lot of people didn't realize that this is part of delivery. So your delivery of the placenta is still, your body is still contracting, still having those involuntary movements. And even though the baby is out, so your belly's not big anymore, as big, you've lost probably anywhere between 5 to 7 pounds. The next thing is to deliver your baby. So according to Childbirth and Stages of Labor, published on August 14th, 2024, on the Mass General Birmingham site, states that the last stage of childbirth is the placenta. This is where the placenta separates from the uterus, and it will be delivered by doctors. And they may need to push on the woman's stomach to get it to move and get it to break off that wall of the uterus. Women may have symptoms of the same active labor during this stage. They may not. And it could take up to 30 minutes to deliver the placenta. Now that you understand what the stages of labor is and what takes place within labor and delivery, I hope I left you just as amazed as I was, learning that there are 3 different stages, and early labor and active labor are not the same, or are the same, and delivery of your placenta actually comes last in delivery. A woman's body has transitions into change in order to have a child. There is early and active labor, where the woman's body is starting to contract the uterus, dilating and effacing of the cervix from 0 centimeters to 10 centimeters before giving birth. And after the baby is born, the placenta is clamped off and delivered. Childbirth is a process that many women go through. So when you have a clear understanding of what women go through, there's just more educational knowledge and understanding and background before you do have a baby, before somebody that you know has a baby. Now that I've explained to you what a woman's body endures during childbirth, the next time there's a pregnancy around you, you will have a better understanding of what women go through during labor. I hope you have learned something new with this time together. Thank you.